In 2026, I've spent over $1.6 million on digital ads across Facebook and Google. And that's just with 3 of my main accounts. I've probably spent closer to 2 million at this point. And so I've learned a lot of things this year that I think are really important if you have a lead generation business, a digital marketing business, or you manage ads at all. There's a couple things, I would say 2 or 3 things that I'm talking about in this video that are absolutely crucial if you want to be successful, if you're generating leads and selling them, if you're managing ad spend, or trying to generate leads for your own business. And so let's jump into the video and I'll tell you exactly how I've been able to manage this spend, how I've been able to stay profitable in the wonkiness of Andromeda and just everything that's happening in the world in this video. So let's jump into it. Okay, so this video, essentially you're gonna be able to look over my shoulder at some of the accounts that we have here. And I wanna talk again about how I've been able to stay profitable with lead gen throughout this year. One thing, and I'm gonna be making a video on this, is I guess jumping into the first account here, I'll actually show you guys the full year so you can see how much I've actually spent, so I'm not just BSing. This is our new B2B brand. Now, I'm a huge fan of B2B. I'm gonna be making a video on the B2B space. The cool thing about this space is, you can see I've got a lot of different costs per leads here. There's been a lot going on. I've got a ton of campaigns. The cool thing about this space is I sell these leads for $400. I really like B2B. I think that, again, I'm gonna make a whole video on this because I think it's something that's untapped. It's a little intimidating. People don't think that they can find business owners on Facebook. And so they're like, oh, I'd have to do LinkedIn ads. That is not true. I've run this mostly through Facebook so far and generated a couple thousand leads at this point. Again, we're selling these for 400. Our qualified cost per leads, usually between 200 and 300. And this looks really good because we've got some new campaigns that are crushing it here. But there is so much room to work with when you're selling leads for 400. This is why I had so much success with Timeshare Tracy at the start, because we could sell those leads for about $110. So even then, if I can get leads for 50, I'm making $50 a lead. And I think that's where the perfect niche comes into play when you're doing lead generation. You want to find a niche that has a decent, obviously a high ticket value, a long-term customer value. You want to find a niche where there's enough customers so you can actually do volume. And then you want a high enough lead cost that you can kind of work within that. At the end of the day, if you do final expense and you're selling leads for 20, that's fine, but you're going to need to generate a ton of leads. And it's pretty competitive. So again, if you go into the B2B space, if you do business lending, you do business insurance, again, any sort of business financial, you're going to be able to sell those leads for a lot. And I've got a couple little offshoots of this already that are happening. This is kind of a joint venture we have here with up here in Canada with a B2B client. There's offshoots happening where the leads are worth $500 to $1,000. And so you can also couple this with direct outreach. You can put time into actually generating leads through cold email, cold outreach, because they're worth so much. And so again, B2B I think is cool. Rant over. You'll see in this account, I've spent about 155K so far. This is something we're trying to ramp up here. It's just in Canada, so it's not quite as, big as you could probably go in the States. This is kind of it's like a business insurance kind of employee benefit sort of space here. And the biggest thing I learned from this account is that you really need to just test creatives. I have tested a ridiculous amount of creatives. Like just in this single campaign here, I'm doing a lead form. I've got 330 leads for $143. Again, qualified cost is probably $200 to $250 depending on a couple different qualifiers. But I've just been throwing packs and packs and packs in here. And this is just one campaign, that I've worked on. We've got an ebook campaign where I've tested, I almost deleted the campaign, guys. That would be crazy. I've only thrown in 2 so far, but I've got some lower cost per leads there. We're trying to nurture those leads a bit more. I've got a bunch of different other campaigns where I'm trying different objectives, different targeting. I've got this original campaign, which I kind of ditched at one point, but I've got, an insane amount of ad sets here. So every single week I'm throwing in 1 or 2 ad sets, and that's what you need to do to be winning, I think, in 2026 is your money's going to go a lot further if you are testing like crazy. I do that with revid.ai. I'm creating 10 new revids every single week. I do that with UGC content. I'll show you a little sneak preview of what my UGC looks like right now. If you're interested, my editor was thinking about, Mr. Jesse, was thinking about maybe showing you guys how to make ads like this. So you'll see right here, I make these kind of ads, like I make 5 of these a week, and my editor, Jesse, here can plug away a few different green screen effects and different kinds of styles, and these have worked very well. So you could obviously film these yourself, or you could pay somebody to do these on Fiverr. I just riff ideas and riff new hooks. I'm testing new hooks every week. I just tried new hook here, and this is not for This is for the ebook, but I'm testing this exact style on our main funnel, and I'm getting leads for, 6 leads for 65 so far. So again, I'm testing new things. Revid, this sort of like, I call it UGC, but just, content where you have a real human being or AI. If you're really good at AI, it needs to not look like AI, because if you have one of those videos where it's like perfect, it looks like a shot on a red cinema camera, people are going to know it's AI. So it needs to look like it's a real person. You can do overlays, you can do different hooks and offers, those types of ads, and then I'll run, new ChatGPT ads. We created a factory for this. If you guys haven't seen this already, let me sign in here quickly. So I use our factory to kind of get my new ideas sorted. So I'll run a campaign or a prompt like this and get 21 different ad ideas going really quickly. If you want access to this tool, by the way, shameless plug, you can join Leadbase Pro. We're also going to be giving away access to this tool in Leadbase Free, so make sure you join Leadbase Free as well. We have brand new courses in there. I actually took our old Pro course and kind of reconfigured it, and it's in Leadbase Free now. So that's content people used to have to pay for. It's now in Leadbase Free. Make sure you join that. You get access to a ton of other templates. And again, if you want more, you can join Leadbase Pro to get access to this tool and 50 other templates, multiple weekly calls with different pros who are doing over 100K a month in revenue. So you're going to want to join that. That's the commercial for the video, guys. I don't have any other sponsors. But let's jump back into the ad account here. So yeah, again, name of the game here. I really like B2B. Again, this is kind of a riff session here. I've been able to generate 10K a month or more with 5 different income streams. And I really bring it back to the fact that I generate an insane amount of creatives. And Leadbase is one of those. Leadbase makes $30,000 to $40,000 a month with a monthly subscription that I think is super valuable. I'm not charging people 10 to 15 grand a month for some one-on-one thing. I just make a lot of content. I wish I'd created more, honestly. I wish I was making like 3 videos a week. So maybe I should make a goal to do that. But the reason I've been able to make these income streams happen is because, and these are revenue streams, these are going to the business. I have a business with Ryan. I'm not making personally like $1 million a month or anything. I'm not trying to like blow that out of proportion. But again, we've been successful because we've been creating a ton of content. We're not scared to make bad content. You just got to make content. So that's account number 1. Account number 2, this is for a travel niche in the US. I can't go into too many details about what this niche is, but we kind of have like a unique deal set up here, but we invoiced for around 30K USD last month in this account. And so this account here, we're gonna have to blur a lot of this stuff, but I'm just gonna quickly say this account here, the reason we're successful here is, this video is going to kind of be being a broken record. The same reason we're building a ton of content here. I'm also building a lot of supportive content for this. So I guess this whole video is about content, but not only ad content, but also content in the funnel. So if you're a faceless kind of floating lead gen brand, I would definitely recommend that you go and create some ads like I showed you in the first video, where I kind of had myself green screened, or maybe you get a 2 to 3 minute sort of VSL. Maybe not on the actual quiz page, but maybe it's on the thank you page. You put a face to your brand. You become an actual company that, again, people see a human being, because everything is becoming AI. Everything's faceless. And I think, sure, that's fine. You can do that. But we've just created a ton of extra content because, again, this is kind of a unique partnership we have here. We're paid on leads and sales with this partnership, but it's a very specific one. And so again, we've been able to not only generate them more leads through more content, but we've been able to help them close more deals, and we get paid more because we've created more content for them that's showing their product and showing who they are and showing their reviews and all these different things. So think of yourself as really building an actual brand, not just I'm running some ads and I've got a couple funnels. It's like, think of building a brand like HomeBuddy, like Rocket Mortgage, Lending Tree. These are all big brands that have grown because they've collected so much data. And that's my next point is with our third brand, we've spent $742,000. I didn't even say I spent, what's this one at? I didn't even look at the year. Let's look. 764,000 for this brand, and then 742,000 for this brand just on Google alone. So this one's actually, we spent a lot more than that. Again, we're definitely, I think, pretty close to the 2 mil mark here overall. This brand, and this is kind of tip number 1 is make more front-end content. Tip number 2 is create more back-end content and more nurturing content. Tip number 3 is data is where it's at. So this brand has generated about 88,000 leads so far. We sell these leads for $63. We generate them for around $32 or so. And and again, same thing holds true. This is a brand where we create a lot of content. I would say less though. A lot of these are pretty evergreen on Google, and we've gotten kind of lucky with that because Google can be a little bit hit and miss when it comes to demand gen. I've been able to make it work really well with some brands and not with others. I think you should always try and take your winners from Facebook and plug them into Google. But the reason we've been able to be successful here is because we found some winners and we've been able to scale them on specifically Google demand gen and YouTube. But again, the key here is the data. So we have 88,000 leads. We now have that is very valuable, especially in the world of, I mean, up here in Canada, you cannot cold email someone, you cannot cold text someone, you can't even cold DM someone, technically speaking. And I think that's going to get more and more enforced over the next several years. So again, data is going to be harder and harder to legally come by. And so if you have people opted into your brand, set a 3-year goal. How do you get 25,000 people in your database that you can continually remarket to? We can remarket to and sell to these leads over and over again because they've opted into marketing from our brand. And that's where LendingTree, that's where Rocket Mortgage, that's where they make, that's why they're worth so much money and they're on the stock market for tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars, is because they have so much data and they can remarket. And when you can remarket to someone who you originally paid $30 to and then they raise their hand for another offer, that's just gravy. You're making money, 99% profit off that because you're able to just market to the leads that you already have instead of paying Facebook for them. All right, guys, as always, hope you enjoyed the video. Recapping, we need more front-end content. We need to produce more ads. We need more back-end content. We need to build an actual brand. That's the beauty of the lead generation business, is you're building a brand that you actually own. That's why I was able to sell my first lead gen brand for close to $1 million Canadian. And that's why I've been able to build brands that consistently produce profit every single month, is because I actually own the brand. I'm not just working on retainer. So more front-end content, more back-end content, and you're capturing data, and that's just adding to that value of your lead generation brand. So this takes time. This isn't something where you're trying to make a ton of profit in week 1 or week 1, 2, month 1, 2. This is, over the first few months, if you're breaking even, you're actually winning. A lot of these brands I was breaking even on for a long time, but I'm capturing data that is worth something. I'm building a brand that's worth something, and I've learned, like I've got so much learnings from my ads and stuff that I've run. So that's where the value comes from. Guys, as always, again, thanks for getting to the end of this video. You can join Leadbase free here. We just hit 14,000 members. I just added a new course to the classroom. We also have our agentic agency playbook in here. If you go into free, I've added the entire bootcamp from our pro course into free. So you're going to want to check that out. And then inside of pro here, we've got 350 members, and we're also going to be updating the classroom even more in here. We've got tons of freebies, tons of prompts. We've got our creative AI tools. We're launching some really cool stuff. It's only $99 a month, and you get a ton of one-on-one time with us. I should say group time, but during that group time, you get one-on-one time. We have 2 to 3 calls a week with myself, my business partner, other experts in the field. We've got Jacob, who does over 100K a month in lead gen sales. We've got Andrew, who does, I think, 1,000 leads a day or something crazy at this point. So you're going to want to be in Leadbase Pro. It's the best value you're going to get, guys. Don't go pay someone $10,000 to be in their one-on-one thing. You can get 95% of that value here, in my opinion. Maybe more. Some people have said more. Okay, so we'll see you there. Bye, guys.